Hello everyone, my name is Everin Goknar. I'm reviewing the 5-step mastering process from part 3 of my book, Major Label Mastering, Professional Mastering Process. This is step 4, it is assembly. So once we've loaded in the songs that are in the collection, they'll be in your record DAW, your capture machine, and the first thing you need to do once they're in is put them in the correct sequence and then make sure the tops and tails are correctly cleaned up and edited. So I usually zoom in as I'm showing you now, and I check to see that's the beginning of the song file of the first song. I try to verify that there's a 300 millisecond kind of a dead space at the top, and I edit to make sure that that's exactly like that. In this case, it's like that already. So we then move to the end of the song, and that's what I refer to as the tail. So as the song ends, want to make sure there's no blame it on the moon. There isn't a lot of dead space, and so you can trim in a little bit as I am here and make the fade out so that it is smooth, and check it. And then I continue and I do the same top and tail editing to the remaining songs, and I check them. Some of these I did prior, so I'm just going to check them. Tops and tails seem good there. And once I have, in this case, it's a 4-song EP, them all together, I do what's called the PQ editing. And in WaveLab, that's really initiated by doing a one-button click of inserting the markers around each region, each file, and then we go in and we set the space between the songs. So I usually do that by playing the song before as it ends and marking a position where you want the next song to begin, and then you move it into place, check it again, and make sure that the next song begins in a natural feel. It's sometimes really good to count the tempo of the song that's ending and pick an upbeat or a downbeat to begin the next song. Some people just like to have 1 second or something like that, 750 milliseconds. And I continue on through. The other songs, and I make sure that the spaces are set how I want them. I'll float on, float on. That feels good as well. And then the last song, I make sure it ends. I usually have also about 300 milliseconds at the end, before the end marker. And so now I have my 4 songs. I have them PQ encoded. I verify I have the correct titles. It's a good thing to check the impact, the frequency balances, and the level of each song against the other songs to make sure you have cohesion. When you're doing assembly, it's very important to get cohesion through the album or EP. If it's a single, it's not obviously as critical. There's nothing else to compare it to, but you want them to have the same level so I can hit the end choruses of each song.
When you let go, I'm just trying to have a good
And since I've done my diligence with the objective assessment, notating the levels of the flat mix, notating and paying attention to my target levels of my mastered audio, when I play the end choruses of all four of these songs, they sound the exact same level to me, which is what you want. You can also go and check a quieter section, such as an intro or a verse.
We're living in a dream. I promised myself to, okay, me up and send me home.
And the quiet sections match up really well as well. So that is an indication of a successfully mastered collection. And the last thing you want to make sure that you pay attention to when you're doing an assembly is you will add any metadata. Metadata just means data about data, and it is the CD text that a compact disc will display, and it is the ISRC codes, which is a tracking code. It's called the International Standard Recording Code. You would enter that. You would also enter the UPC, which is the Universal Price Listing Code. If it's a record label that's releasing the project, they will have that. This information gets compiled and entered by the mastering engineer during the assembly phase. So that's an overview of the assembly process, and the next step is the final step, which is known as delivery.